That was an abrupt ending.
Yeah.
I was not ready to start this show.
That's
I'm
Eagles.
still not ready.
Damn pause button wasn't working.
That is Eagles.
Don't you fade that down?
Yeah, you do. You fade it down.
Get a fader. Get faded, Chapman.
I don't want to get faded.
That's Eagles' ringtone.
Apparently.
Yes, it is. When his wife calls. When you call.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
What are our voices?
Our voices are not the ringtone, that's for sure. It is. Welcome welcome back here to Calling the Audible Division 5A and 5B. Peezein Delarice to my immediate right, behind the camera, or my left.
Yeah,
Well, they're watching, right? They see you on the right.
Okay. Yes, to their right, to your
the right.
left.
Yeah, exactly. Peezein
Your
Delarice.
other right.
To my left, Peezein Delarice, and behind the camera scene, it is Hunger Games, a.k.a. Antonio Diverse, and, of course, yours truly, Moe here, as we gear up for a recap and preview. And, of course, we apologize for yesterday, given the weather issues that we had in Montreal with the ice storm, mini ice storm and the snowstorm. We felt it was better to trek all the way out here and avoid disaster and come today and have us a podcast. Let's dive right into it, Peezein.
Absolutely.
Let's dive into it, indeed. And let's talk about the week that was in Division 5A and 5B. We'll go with 5A first and foremost. One of the best games of the week, the Longhorns, Wolfpack. 44-38 victory for the Longhorns over Wolfpack. A high-scoring affair. John Moody had 6 TDs, 1 INT. Our very own Terry Tam, 6 TDs, 2 INTs, but he did pass for 263, which was the league leader for the week. Some key other guys, Jakub Telemac, 3 TDs. Brian Martin with 3 TDs. Overall, this was a fairly even offensive output for both sides here. But when you look at this game from a context of Longhorn victory, Wolfpack loss, what do you take away from it?
It's the exact kind of game that I would have thought Longhorns would lose, that would win, and Wolfpack would lose. The thing is, this is an absolutely amazing performance by our boy Terry Tam. 6 touchdowns, 2 TDs is an impressive line, but in the end, who do you expect to put up more points? It's always going to be John Moody, and that's the Longhorns' strength. The Longhorns' weakness is their defense and lack of team speed. But what do Wolfpack have? Offense and team speed. So it plays into Longhorns' advantage in that John Moody knows he'll be able to put up more points even if the defense isn't there that day, and that's what we saw.
Is this a statement win for the Longhorns or a bitter loss for the Wolfpack?
Neither. It's an expected result. I mean, like, going into this game, no matter what Terry Tam says and what guys from Wolfpack says, they didn't legitimately think they'd win this game. I don't think they were. Longhorns are one of the front runners for this division. Wolfpack, they fought with them stride for stride, and you know what? Like, it was a great game. But 9 times out of 10, Longhorns will win that game. This is one of those 9 times. Longhorns won the game.
I think it's a bitter loss for Wolfpack. I really do, because when will we see Terry Tam throw 6 TDs in a game and lose?
Okay, but they were gonna lose if they're gonna allow Longhorns to put up points. So it didn't matter what Terry did. If the defense is gonna allow that amount of points, then Terry scoring just facilitates Longhorn scoring by continuously trading possessions.
But with all that speed you mentioned with Wolfpack,
Yes,
and the slowness of the speed of Hunger Games running on the field for Longhorns,
look, wolves are faster than cows.
that may be true, but
It's
Longhorns
entirely
are
true.
very high in meat.
Chapman, I need you to look that up. Are wolves faster than cows?
Yes. Can you look that up on Jeeves?
Really, do I have to?
Yeah,
Yes, you
absolutely.
do.
We
Yes,
need to
that
know.
is your role on this show, to look up things for us that are off the wall, makes no sense in life.
If that's not production, I don't know what production is.
Exactly. But how is it that a speedy team like Wolfpack cannot run circles on a team like the Horns when you
John
laid it
Moody,
out?
man.
Well, you laid it out perfectly, though, right? You
Yeah.
have a slow, relatively slow team against a very youngish, quick team, and yet they still won by 6.
You know what? I mean, Chapman, it looks like you have an answer for us.
I do. So wolves are faster.
Okay.
However, it's pretty impressive that a wolf that weighs 66 pounds can go 47 miles an hour, but a cow that weighs 1,433 pounds can go 25 miles per hour.
So imagine cows.
That's scary.
Imagine
It's a lot
cows
of
have better
beef.
nutrition.
Yeah.
No, but that said, Mo, like, yes, you're right. You figure the youth and speed would win, but the thing is that again, like, you expect Terry Tam to make more mistakes than John Moody, given more possessions, given more passes, given more attempts, and you know what? That's exactly what happened. It's a difference of 1 possession. It's a difference of 1 interception. Terry Tam threw the interception. John Moody threw 1 less interception.
If they were to meet again, Peezein, do we see the same outcome of a high-scoring affair, and perhaps Terry learns from his mistakes along with his Wolfpack teammates?
It's not a mistake because if you're throwing 6 touchdowns, it's not a mistake.
Throwing 2 INTs is mistakes.
They're mistakes, but what Terry could have done better is manage the game in that maybe slow it down, maybe make it a 5 possession, make it like a muddy track if you excuse the
Cows love mud.
They do love mud,
Yes.
so that's a problem.
Yes.
But drop some thunder on there, and cows are afraid of lightning. You know that?
Yes, they are.
It's bizarre considering they live outside.
Can you look that up for us exactly?
Are cows scared of lightning?
Yes.
Yeah, we need to know that immediately.
What type of lightning, though? Thunderstorms?
Also, after you finish that, find out if lightning is from cumulus clouds. I forgot my high school science, man. No, but so I would expect a similar output.
Yes.
But if for Wolfpack to win, it would need to be something like a 24-20 game, 22-20. Like they would need to make it an ugly game. They need to get the ball out of Moody's hands, make it a 5 possession total game. There we see maybe Moody makes a mistake, maybe Terry doesn't.
I think Terry needs a haircut. Maybe he wants to
He's
throw
got
in 2
beautiful
INTs.
hair. Beautiful hair.
He's got a Joe Namath thing going on right now.
Sexy Joe Namath.
Yeah. Speaking of sexy Joe Namath,
That old Joe Namath drunkenly hitting on Aaron
I want to
Andrews.
kiss. Well, Susie Cobra actually.
That's Susie Culver, my man.
The Seth Galinas, the Fighting Seth Galinas, up in your team, supplying command.
You mean
32-26.
the self-important team name?
Yes, the Fighting Seth Galinas.
Beat the supply and command list.
Yes. Emilio Pampino with 3 TDs, 1 INT. Our very own Peezein with 4 TDs, but 3 INTs. But he did throw for 183 yards, 7 incompletions. I think 15 for 22 it was. For yourself.
That's a pretty impressive memory, Mo.
Yeah, it is. I remember that number because Peezein Delarizi and Simon Dajner are up there neck and neck for the Simon Dajner Award. Dylan Taylor and Alex David each had 2 TDs. Now, the question that comes up to you, can Seth Galina retire on his merits of what he did against your team on Sunday with 2 INTs, a pick 6, a touchdown catch, and leave on top and never come back to FPL?
Well, you picked off a garbage quarterback twice, so I
agree.
I don't consider that to be a crowning achievement. But you know what? Like, they're a good team. They're smart. They did something I didn't expect in that they made a defensive adjustment that took me way too long to figure out, and that's Seth Galina got the interceptions.
Did you figure out past midnight what the adjustment
Well,
was supposed to be? Oh, man, that's what they were running before.
I figured out in the last drive when we're down 2 scores already. So it was. It's like we keep saying, Mo. Like the league's evolving, and even in Division 5, teams don't stay static anymore. It's difficult. Teams are going to make adjustments, and it's likewise for other teams. They need to make the adjustment on their end.
So what has changed for your very own supply and command list or command?
I say command list because again the garbageness at quarterback. Nothing much, honestly. Like it's it's a type of team where we should have put away, and it just took. If it was a quarterback who was more experienced and knew how to manage the game better, it probably goes the other way. So given that, Seth Galina got lucky and won the game.
A little pop shock towards
Look,
Seth.
what do you want me to say? Oh, both teams played good. No, the hell with that. We played stupid. We're better than them. They won. Congratulations.
Oh, they're better than you on that night.
Absolutely.
So
Maybe 9 times out of 10 they beat you guys. You get that 1 win in like October or something like that.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Never again.
Yes, Hunger Games.
I'm going to get T-shirts that say never again.
So cows are afraid of lightning, and for good reason.
Good reason.
I'm reading a report here where there was a
From
herd
which,
of
hold
71
on,
that got
hold
struck
on.
by lightning and 68 died.
Hold on. Which website or which accredited journalism site are you taking this from?
NorthernStar.com.
That sounds like alternative facts.
NorthernStar.com. Put that on the website. NorthernStar.com. Has anyone heard of that?
Also,
You all heard of it now.
so of the 71 that got struck by lightning, 68 died.
Yeah.
That's not bad though. A couple survived.
It's some fine
I was
barbecue.
going to say
then.
lightning is pretty efficient,
Is that-
unlike peas
Is that
at
medium-
quarterback.
Is that well done or medium rare? That's what I want to know.
I think medium.
Games that other
Based on the
games,
pictures.
other games that caught your attention from 5A this weekend.
And the games that caught my attention. Sorry, I wasn't. I moved on to the script, so I didn't see.
Oh, my bad. I
just-
figured something you may have caught a game or so, or anything that caught your
I
attention.
did. I have some notes. It's just not loading.
This is where you buy time.
Absolutely.
You need a
Well,
new iPad.
I do. There was one supposed to be delivered to me today. It'll be in for next weekend. So the thing, Mo, we want to talk about 3-0 teams, and I'll tie that in
Yes.
to
go
recap
ahead.
because I did catch Diablos, but I
Yeah.
want to get my notes down first. So you wanted to bring in some undefeated teams. So
Yeah,
bring
let's-
that up, and then I'll
There we
chime
go.
in with my
Nice
game
way to
notes.
segue in here. Of course, 3-0 teams. We have a few teams left on the mountain here. Longhorns, Diablos, both 3-0. They will play each other the last week of the season, which could very well be for the division title, perhaps maybe a 1 seed in the playoffs here. And we'll also talk about the Jaguars, who remain undefeated, depending on what they do tonight in their Wednesday night game at Hebert. But right now, Pease, when you look at Diablos, a very strong team. You look at the Longhorns, who we spoke about moments ago with their win over Wolfpack. Who is most likely in your mind to remain undefeated as we move throughout the course of the season after 3 weeks of the FPF winter matchups?
I got to think Diablos have a loss. But that said, winning 44-18 against Beer and Skittles, see what I did there, brought it back, Mo, is an impressive win. So I know Beer and Skittles are not one of the top teams in the division necessarily, but it's a game where you can easily go win it by a couple of points, but instead to lay that kind of whooping on Beer and Skittles is impressive nonetheless. We see in this game Francois Martin going 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Mo, what is it about Francois Martin where we see where he has these monster games and then he has games where he just absolutely can't deliver?
He looks... I'm going to use this word quite a bit in this podcast. He looks aloof playing the quarterback position, a little bit uncoordinated, I guess, at times. But he produces, right? You look at his roster right now across the board. He has 3 guys, I believe, that have 3 or more touchdowns as we speak. Gab Wiseman with 5 in total. And he has Georges Elivoye, who you know very well, with 3 TDs, along with Alexis Gaumont, who has 3 TDs. This is a team that's going to be dependent on some of their stronger guys on the roster that we know very well, that have been impact players in hard divisions. But I think right now, when we look at Diablos and where they're at, look, they have their next 2 games, which are pretty easy. They have Blue Devils, Ace Athletics coming up the next 2 weeks here. They could very well be 5-0 before they play Trap Stars. I think they go 6-0.
Yeah.
Cageborough could be a trap game for them. But the last 3 weeks, Wolfpack, Aliens, and Longhorns, 3 unpredictable games. I agree with you to the extent that they could be a 1, maybe 2 loss team here. But they can run the table for at least the next 3-4 weeks.
Here's the thing, like they face Trap Stars. Trap Stars have a great defense, so is that the game Francois Martin disappears?
And it could be a trap game too.
Against
No
Trap
pun
Stars.
intended.
They're going to have a game against Longhorns. Again,
That's the last game, which could be for the division, by the way.
But it likely will be, and I expect Longhorns to win that game as well. So I think they're going to be more a 2-loss team than a team that can quote unquote
But
run the table.
their defense, though, 6 INTs, 4 sacks. That
Correct.
says a lot about what they are as a football team, becoming more balanced than
Yes.
before.
But they've played against Pandas.
Yeah.
Not to a team with a reputable quarterback necessarily.
Not your Pandas, right?
No, not my Punch Pandas.
Not
No.
your Punch Pandas.
Global Gym Purple Cobras, solid team.
I think they'll be in the playoffs.
But not a team that has it's not Joey Taylor at the helm, right? It's Eric Maiorino.
Joy Taylor Light 2.0.
But he's not the same. He doesn't have the same
he
level of
doesn't have-
efficiency.
no.
And then Frank K, who's a good quarterback, but plays within his limitations. And you know what? Diablos are a stronger roster, so that plays into their favor.
Yeah.
Once they start playing, for example, they play, KG Pira. We're seeing Dylan Garber put up great numbers so
And
far.
they have a big game this week for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk about that in a second. But then you see at the end of the season, they're playing John Moody. Those are legitimate quarterback of the year contenders. So, I mean, I think that's where the tide changes for them. The other game I did catch, Mo, just because we brought up KGP Raw, was that KGP Raw game.
Yes.
They beat Free Bands 25-6. Free Bands again, we see Stefano Spagnolo not even complete double-digit, not even have double-digit completions, other than continuously hitting Asari Worrell, which we saw the previous week.
Yeah.
Unable to really move the ball, throwing 4 interceptions. On the other side, Dylan Garber. You know what? He did have that interception, but throwing 4 touchdowns. A fairly efficient game for a guy who's not a guy we think of as one of the top quarterbacks in the division. Just playing within himself, knowing the talent that he has around him. Jonathan Garfinkel, big game with 2 touchdowns.
Right.
Phil Cutler, a name we all know, 6
What?
catches in this one. Exactly. So, I mean, KGP Raw, absolutely one of those teams that could be a trap for a lot of teams moving forward.
Going to Diablos. And we talk about John Moody. You mentioned him being a potential quarterback of the year. 17 TDs through 3 games. He's on pace for 50.
I did say that in the preseason when I was like, how is he still allowed to throw in this division?
I know. He's on pace for 50
What is
plus.
this? Yeah, exactly.
But they also scored, in their 3 games, they scored 38 or more points in a game, which is fantastic. But would you rather have a strong offense or a stifling defense with these 2 teams?
Strong offense. In FBF, in the playoffs, you need to score 5 touchdowns. If you cannot score 5 touchdowns, you will inevitably lose somewhere down the line. Because you no longer feast on poor teams in the playoffs. All the teams are good. All the teams can put up points. So therefore, what I've seen is in multiple rounds, you may get away with.
Wait a minute. Time out. You called me on histrionics. I'm calling you out on so therefore. It's the same word. Check that out for me, please.
Can I use so and therefore back to back?
No, you can't. You cannot.
Okay, dude, but you use the word
Histrionics?
wrong. Okay.
Yeah, thank
All right,
you.
fine. All right, Chapman,
Victory.
look it up. No.
Victory's
Chapman,
mine.
look it up.
Victory's mine.
I was convinced Pease was going to concede for a second.
No,
He was
I will not
gonna
take the L.
Yes, you will.
I'm
Carry on.
Paulo D. Rocca because I don't take the L.
Therefore,
So
as we were saying about John Moody in the offense.
therefore,
Therefore,
I mean, somewhere along the lines in the playoffs, you will need to score 5 times. You may get away with it one round, but you won't get away with it the whole way. Speaking of did I get away with one?
No. So therefore is redundant.
It is
thank you,
redundant.
Mike. Can I do the mic drop now? Hold on.
You used the word wrong. Okay, fine. Sorry about my histrionics right now.
He is a little bit angry right now. Carry on, please.
I'm done. I don't even remember my point anymore. John Moody, the hell with you.
Okay, so who's more likely to make a deeper playoff run then? Is it the Longhorns in your mind or the Diablos, given
Longhorns.
what you laid out?
Longhorns. Honestly, this is their division to lose. If they can't win, playing in a division that they're too strong for, then then there's time. Then they need to look at their roster and see what's wrong, because I see the best quarterback in the division, receivers that he can get the ball to, receivers he's comfortable throwing to, and the ability to put up 40 points every week.
Look, I'm going to wait another week. I want to see the Longhorns have won a close game in a high-scoring affair. I want to see them win that 25-20 type of matchup.
Yeah, but
Diablos have done it,
they
though.
may not have to all season.
But Pease, you mentioned about scoring 5 TDs in a playoff game, but there will come a point in time in a playoff run where you might have to win 25-20 or 20-18.
Unless you always score 30.
But that's the thing, though. If they stagnate, though, can their defense step up to the plate and be much more effective? That's the whole thing, though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the Diablos have that balanced attack where maybe their offense might not score 30-plus points in a game, but their defense can flip the table and take momentum in their favor to win a game because they could have scored 4 or 5 TDs that you would always anticipate them doing every week.
Correct. That argument is fair, but I think to me, like, if this isn't a team with like 380 points scored all season long and a team that doesn't continuously put up numbers in the playoffs, I'd be very surprised.
Jaguars, do you believe, with them undefeated, do you believe they could be a serious threat to being a number 1 seed as undefeated?
Yeah, we'll go through the schedule in a second, but I'm impressed with what I've seen with them. They're a team that didn't start off particularly strong last season, Mo. We'll start with your opinion. Do you think they have the players in place before I go through the schedule?
To use your example in the Longhorns, they have a prolific offense, dynamic, creative. They can win with the ability to do with the dual threat quarterback like they have with the legs and the arm.
Jimmy Lee Janvier.
Yeah, Jimmy Lee Janvier. But I worry about that defense coming up with the big play. They have athletes, but the question is, can those athletes play in that system and execute it to perfection where they'll need that to happen? If you recall last year when they played in the winter season, they would score points, but then when it came to making a stop or two, they crumbled, and they just sort of disappeared towards the end of the season. So that's my worry about this team here moving into the next 7 weeks of this FPF world and what they can be as a balanced attack.
They got a sweet schedule, man.
They do.
So I'm looking at it. So they face Blue Devils and Wolfpack, 2 teams that are very up and down. They face Preachers tonight. We should get an update soon. They're
gonna crack them.
They play Trap Stars, who look strong defense, but you know what? Trap Stars, we've seen them lose games like this before. Bunch of rookies. Les Vergefol, who we discussed without Jonathan Legault, are not the same Vergefol that we've seen in years past. Dope Boys, Untitled Chapter team, Tyrants, and then Flagrant Fouls. Man, it seems like a team that may go 9-1 or 10-0, and then lose first round of the playoffs because they just think, well, this division's easy. I've been on an example of one of those teams. So is Eternal Hunger.
So have I.
So have you. There you go.
Exactly.
It's not fun.
Happened. It's not happening at all. It's not funny or happening at all. Let's talk about slow starts. We're at the 1/3 mark of the season here. Any team that surprised you? Some teams I've listed you: Dope Boys, Aliens, Trap Stars to name. Are you surprised by their slow start out of the gate here, where they have one win apiece? not really convincing so far, and some issues within their team systems on both sides of the football.
Aliens really surprises me. We talked about them at the beginning of the season, saying that they were going to be competitive, but they have not been this so far. And what surprises me the most is they're a team that could put up points. They're a team that can play defense, yet they find themselves in having more losses in the loss column. And weirdly, a plus 23 plus minus, which is bizarre for a team that's 1-2.
Yeah.
Then another team that surprises me to a degree is Trap Stars, because yes, I know the narrative on them is, you know what, they're losing his team in FPF, blah blah blah. They still have a lot of athletes. They still have a very good defense, and they're down in Division 5. A lot of their history's been when they played in higher divisions, and in pre-cap era, where basically it was the Wild West and you can load up your teams, and that's what they're used to losing to. So I'm surprised that in this era of FPF they're still having.
I see in the corner of my eye that Hunger Games is prepping for his next segment, which we'll get to very shortly here. But the common denominator for these two teams, they're in tough divisions, which we'll talk about next week here. But I think that's a blessing in disguise, because the Aliens right now are 1-2. They have 4 teams above them right now at 2-1 in KGP Rob, LOB Brothers, and T's and Beers. So they're still in play.
Can I complain about something?
Yes.
So the scheduling software that we used.
Yes.
Impressive.
Yes.
I have some issues with it. One issue is that it scheduled all of the division games first and the out of division games second. This does two things. One, it's less exciting to play your division games first, because later on you're looking at divisional records and so on and so forth.
For sure.
By the time we're looking at that, they will be locked. Now, the next thing that bothers me about this is teams are ranked in tiers, right? So
yes.
you have tier 1, tier 2, so on and so forth. So right now, teams in their division are getting beaten up likely by the higher tier teams in weeks where they haven't gotten together. They're not gelling yet. So only later in the season, when they're playing teams of the same caliber, will they be hitting on all cylinders, where you'd like to see them facing the teams of a higher tier later in the season, because the games will be more competitive.
You can tweet your thoughts at FPF, of course, Flag Plus, and of course, PZFPF, Mocha19, if you want to express your thoughts on the schedule so far after 3 weeks of play. I mean, I'll give the schedule a few more weeks.
And then you'll see I'm right. It's all good.
After 5 weeks, we'll look at the schedule, see what we've...
Why wouldn't you have those games last?
I think it's look. I believe divisional games should be towards the end of the
There
season.
we go.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying.
With you. No,
I'm not
sure.
saying, look, it's broken, throw it in the garbage. Like, every time I criticize it, Rob Campan's like, Peas, we can't just write it in pen and paper.
No, it is.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, look at the things that need to be improved, and that's one of the things.
Well, I think that will be corrected as we move along.
How'd you like my Commissioner Rob Campan?
Terry Tando's going.
He's the best one. Yeah.
Look, between you and I, man, you got to really tone it down here.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to really keep a family-oriented show here. You know, you should have Antonio come up with these cow lightning things here. More sports FPF related. These guys are doing now. You know.
But I will say that Terry Tam is the Van Gogh of impressionists.
Exactly. Don't forget, Sportiera, your official sponsor for your uniforms. Of course, there's time to get your uniforms for the season, or if not for spring season, or for other leagues that you need it for.
There's no other
as well.
leagues.
It is now time for the word game with Hunger Games. And now the word game is that Antonio will give us a statement. So, example, Peezein of Supply and Command. Performance on Sunday was what?
Garbage. Next.
Hideous.
Yes.
And we explain why. So you go and you give us the example, and we give you the word to describe your statements. Here we go.
James Floriani's performance for the Aliens was lackluster.
No.
Well, what am I supposed to do? Oh, you guys finished the word.
Yes. This is like last season. I made him do
Hey.
ad libs, and he still doesn't understand what ad libs are.
You guys are horrible.
At 30 years old, you still don't know what ad libs are.
Not 30 yet.
It's coming.
Avec yai.
Okay, let's try this again.
Okay,
and 3, 2, 1. And here we are. Antonio's segment on word game. Here we
That's
go.
a different guy now, right?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. James Floriani's performance with the Aliens was?
Go ahead.
I'm going to go, his performance was macaroni and cheese, in that that's what's left of his back after taking a fall. He's got a pinched nerve, and he's basically going to be out for a portion of the season. As a teammate of his in Division 3, it's bothersome. I feel bad for the dude. He was playing hard, and he tried to make a big play, and you know what I mean? He just got hurt. So I say his performance was mac and cheese.
Blessing. He can spend more time on his articles now with him.
He doesn't write articles with first.
That's true.
I fired his ass, though.
Disappointing. It's a disappointing loss for Aliens to lose one of their key guys to their roster. We know the rapport he has with SBB and what he brings onto the football field. And at the end of the day, if the Aliens can somehow muster out 4 more wins in the next 7 weeks and get back James Floriani maybe at 75%, I would take him over any other player right now.
If Aliens manage to make it to the finals, will we have the sign at the roadshow that says, "Hey SBB, yeah, you know me"?
Perhaps.
It rhymes.
Does
It
rhymes.
rhymes. With time. Next.
AJ Gomez's performance with a bunch of rookies was.
I'll let you take that one first, Mo, since I went first last.
AJ Gomez's performance with a bunch of rookies. I'm going to say bodacious.
Because
I'm just waiting for the catch line here. Come on, ask me why bodacious.
Why bodacious, Mo?
Well, like AJ Gomez is a game breaker. He's a guy that plays with a lot of passion. He will sacrifice his body to make plays here and there. But at the end of the day, though, it's bodacious because AJ Gomez will do whatever it takes that needs to be done to win a football game.
I'm gonna say triumphant, specific. Wait, go ahead. Sorry.
Why?
Why? What?
Why triumphant?
I'm just gonna say triumphant because the prefix for the word triumphant is tri, the same genesis as triangle. Therefore, having scored 3 TDs, absolutely triumphant. Big game for him and a bunch of rookies who, you know what, they did go on to lose to Lev fell 46-41. But I will say AJ Gomes did his part. He was triumphant despite the loss.
And last
Yes.
one is Pat Riot's performance for the Blue Devils was what?
Go ahead, Tease.
I'm gonna go with incomplete.
Why?
You look at Pat Riot. He is former quarterback of lockdown. He's a guy who's played a long time in this division, and you see him go up against a team that's struggling, like Ace Athletics. You see him put up 2 touchdowns. That's okay. That's fine. But I expected a much bigger game out of him in this context, and having seen them go ahead and win this game, fine. You know what? You won 13-12. Congratulations. That said, your team was supposed to have it figured out by now. Ace Athletics still struggling. Pat Riot, I expected more.
Hope.
Why? Why hope?
And you hope?
Because it gives him the hope to believe that maybe he could be a subpar quarterback than a below-average quarterback. And at the end of the day, for him, this is a confidence booster to go for what he did: 2 TDs and no INTs. That has been his downfall throughout the course of his career, the INTs. So there's hope for Pat Wright to become maybe a decent quarterback in the FPF world.
But he's been. Don't you think
He's been a choke
he should?
artist.
Yes, but don't you think he should have performed better against Ace Athletics?
He is Matt Ryan with much less talent at this juncture of his career. This
So
doesn't win the big
Super Bowl
games.
caliber quarterback.
Doesn't win games,
He
man.
just won a bunch of big games.
This year he wins 2 games. Now he's in the big game. Come on.
I mean, yes, correct. Those things are facts.
Point is, we'll see.
So if he wins one more game, all of a sudden he's a guy
if
who wins
Pat
big
Wright
games.
makes a deep playoff run with Blue Devils and ends up going to the 5A finals, then I'll give him his due credit. But in the meantime, he's nothing gargantuan. That's another word right there. All right, coming up next, we'll talk 5B.
Gargantuan is a word, correct?
Yes. 5B action. We'll talk about what happened this past week in 5B. We'll also talk about some stats of the week here with Kevin Schmuto. Is he the best receiver in 5B? Stay tuned here on Calling the Audible, live from Sportiera Cage with Peezein and Moe.
Yeah, next week. And we're back.
And we're back. We screw up all the time here on Calling the Audible, live from Sportiera Cage, PZFPF at Mocha19. And of course, what is your handle? on Twitter? You had no handle.
No handle.
No handle.
At Flag Plus.
Yeah, at Flag Plus is your handle on Twitter.
I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Welcome back here. We'll do 5B action here. We'll talk about the first game here. Takeover X-Men. Takeover won a big one. I saw this game from afar. 39-31. Your boy got him a swim to hand. 4 TDs, 1 INT. Ian Einheimer had a good game, but the key play was the Fucktan pick 6, which turned the game around for Takeover. William Power with 3 TDs for the Takeover. In my books, watching it from where I was, it felt like a sense of relief for the Takeover squad to get this victory because we've been trashing them for the first 2 weeks of the season, but to beat what could be considered a legitimate playoff team in X-Men has got to do wonders for their confidence moving forward, Pease.
Yeah, I'm confused about what's happening with X-Men, to be entirely honest. You know, we saw them start the season with Kevin Bustani at quarterback in the absence of Gotma Swaminidham. Jesus, I can't. Like,
Can you spell his name?
I can actually spell it because of how many seasons I wrote the Division 5 article. I cannot pronounce it, and it sucks because I love the dude. He's a really nice guy.
Yes, he is.
But I'm surprised by this outcome. Not to take anything away from Takeover, but X-Men just typically strong team, both sides of the ball. Swaminathan, great quarterback for the division. Instead, we see Ian Einheimer being the better of the two, connecting with Willpower, my boy.
Yeah.
Plays with me in Div 6 for 3 touchdowns. And you know what? Like, it's impressive to see. Now, of course, it's turned Willpower into like the superstar, and he's always asking me like, "Hey, Pease, how come you don't throw me 3 touchdowns?" Shut up, bro.
Well,
You air your dirty laundry.
Well, you think about it right now. They outscored them 26-7 in the second half of that football game, and what the hell is that? I have no idea what Hungry Game's showing us right now.
Battle of the Studs.
Who sent that to us?
I don't know.
I just found it.
It's from a site called Dumpster Possum.
Reputable, 100%.
I mean,
All right, fair enough. But
if that doesn't sound like anime porn, I don't know
I
what
don't know.
does.
It might be something that he looks at. When we look at the X-Men, though, when they look back on the season, whether they finish first, second, third, fourth, or fifth, will this loss come back to haunt them when it's all said and done? I think it will.
It may because, man, like the way they started the season is not what they expected. I'm positive, and it's a game that I'm sure they marked as a W with the way Takeover started the season as well. So it hopefully started a good trend for Takeover, and hopefully doesn't get X-Men down too much.
Well, their next game is against the Rednecks, which isn't easy.
No,
and then
that's
afterwards,
not
you got
gonna be
Dreamville. Could be a win for them. Knights down the road. Friends in low places. This could be a very tough stretch. This was a must-win for them after 2 weeks. They're 0-3. They're in a legit deep hole as we speak. And as we said before, Pease, when we talked about the Week 1 preview, you're going to need at least 4 wins minimum.
Yeah.
5 per.
That doesn't leave a lot of room. Like that's
No.
2 more losses rest of the way
Yeah,
out,
exactly.
and to have a shot at the playoffs.
Yeah, 7 games left. 4-3. You can very small margin of error right now moving forward for this football team moving ahead. Other games that caught my attention from this past week here. Los Albatros against.
Les Albatros.
Oh, I call them Los because they
Los Albatros.
Yeah, exactly.
You switched the letters. Trevor, I need you to look up what an albatross is.
against All Hooks. All Hooks winning the football game 30-26. The caveat, though, LA only had 5 players.
Yeah.
And the story behind this game was that LA was driving to close out this game, essentially. And the quarterback for LA, Justin LaFontaine, threw an end zone INT that Dominic Perron, former McGill player, returned back. And that put the wheels in motion for All Hooks to get the game-winning TD. But the key, though, was Thomas Coutu had 5 sacks in the game itself here. And C.O. Levine had 177 yards passing. Should LA feel good about themselves, even though they lost on the last play of the game?
Well, I mean, we all kind of look for moral victories at the end of a week, right? Because, like, you just want to feel good after playing a game of flag football. So, I mean, yes. I mean, it won't show in a win-loss column, but, I mean, that said, they know that had they had their whole team there, it's likely a different game. Playing 5-on-6 is not a fun
Or
thing to do.
6-on-5.
6-on-5, yes. Either way.
Either way.
It's more fun for 6-on-5 than it is for 5-on-6.
Yeah, of course.
It's like my dad used to always say. He used to say, like, you know, he's like, I knew a guy who was in the army. He told us about this time. He was like, there we were, 3 against a million. Toughest 3 we ever killed.
Should the All Hooks be embarrassed, though? They had a McGill player playing for them. They, on paper, as we mentioned before, are a very impressive team on the roster, barely beating an undermanned opponent like LA was.
And even at that, there's other guys on this team who are solid players too. Charles Fontaine, very good player. I mean, first thing is they lie about their team name because I've seen them run more plays than all hooks. In fact, most time I watch them play, they're just airing it out. So
All go.
lies.
Okay.
But more importantly, look, not really, because you know what? You got away with one, and you did the thing you're supposed to do. You beat a team with less players. But I don't even know how you let a team with 5 players score on you. To
Albeit
be honest.
a team like LA that does not score many points.
Yeah. On top of that,
and
you need to fix your defense. You need to find out because you got kicked in the nuts by a guy who's knee high.
And LaFontaine took 5 sacks, which if he had a better quarterback, maybe he doesn't take those sacks. And maybe they win that game. Who knows?
A lot of maybes.
Yes. Did we find out the meaning of
Albatross.
There's no meaning, but it's apparently a gun range in Norway.
Nice. So
Norway, a very
me and you first date. Albatross.
Yes, Oslo we come. Norway, a very peaceful country that they are.
That's why they have rifle ranges.
Yeah.
They're very good.
So you shoot
Nordic
inanimate
competition.
objects.
Nordic competitions are very good. Can you look it up? Nordic Olympic medals, Norway's history in Nordic competitions.
Norway's histrionics.
In relation to the Albatross nickname, please. Thank you. 3-0s. Let's talk about the 3-0s. There's 4 teams that are still undefeated. My Rednecks, the awfully sneaky good Mad Bears, Friends in Low Places in bye week. And by the way, Friends in Low Places will play bye week on February 1st, which will be in 10 days' time, less than 10 days from now. Rednecks do play X-Men this week. Bye week has Les Bigs this week. In your mind, out of the 4 teams that I've listed, Rednecks, Bears, Friends in Low Places, bye week, who will be the last one remaining as the undefeated?
I like Rednecks a lot.
I know you do.
They have the best quarterback of the teams you listed, and they're a team that didn't come in, I believe, super highly rated. So yes, they face X-Men and Jean-Coutu, but those are the really tough games. They finish off the season against Hot Boys Hotline, Tip Top Shape, which is a strong team, a team up from Division 6.
Yeah.
They face Mad Bears, so potentially a chance to knock off Mad Bears. I think they are stronger than Mad Bears. So in my opinion, I think they're the ones to do it. Mo, if not Rednecks, who do you think has a chance to be undefeated?
I've watched the Mad Bears play twice now. Mm-hmm. They're maddening good. They're
maddening good?
Yeah, they really are. They just play a game which kind of frustrates teams. Their defense is sneaky physical. I mean,
how are you sneaky physical?
I mean, in a good way, right? They will muck it up with whoever will come out there. I remember them playing against the Cougars, STL Cougars, St. Leo Cougars, about 2 weeks ago, and they're a big boy team. And they weren't afraid of them. They went up against them toe for toe here. But what makes them even more important, though, is the fact that the receiving core is pretty balanced attack. Whether you look at their team from top to bottom here, whether it's Jeremy Durand Tremblay, who has 3 TDs, right down to Antoine Brisson, who has 4 TDs.
Antoine Brisson's a very good FPF player.
He's a very good player, and top to bottom right now, they have guys, I believe they have 3 guys now with 3 or more TDs on that roster. They could be explosive when it matters most, but they can lock it down here. I'm going to put my poker chips on Mad Bears as being the last team standing that will be undefeated this season.
I have a question, but I don't know if I should ask you.
Yes.
So if they're sneaky physical, should their team be called Mad Roofies?
Oh boy. I don't know.
Told you I didn't think I should ask it.
Put it on the poll, FPF, please.
I think
Flag
Rob
Plus.
would be upset if we put
Tweet
that
us
one
your
on the
answer
poll.
at Flag Plus, please. We emphasize
Is
you to
sneaky physical Mad Roofies?
any date Robert Capana's Twitter handle. So when he wakes up in the middle of the night, why all these tweets for? Yes, I believe it is. No, I don't think so. Maybe it is. I believe so. Yes.
So
At Flag Plus, please.
And at RabCam11.
So for the Norwegian question,
Yes.
Go ahead.
in the Summer Olympics, they basically the biggest producers are sailing and shooting. Go figure.
Maybe they're not that peaceful, Mo. They train at Albatross.
And the Winter Olympics is cross-country skiing and speed skating.
So not even the one where what's the one where they
Nordic.
cross-country ski
Nordic.
and shoot?
Nordic
Do
competition.
they actually ski and shoot?
Yeah,
it's
Nordic
amazing.
competition.
That sounds
man.
I think it's
amazing.
the biathlon, no?
Something like that. The French, not French. The winter version is Nordic biathlon.
So
no?
how does that work? You have 2 poles in your hands, and then you got to pull out your gun to shoot
Yeah, you
something.
put the poles
Yeah,
down, you get
exactly.
your gun, and you shoot like some robotic ducks or something.
Are you buying? Are you buying one
Duck
of these? Are you buying these 4 teams? 4 teams is the best 5B teams that we have right now.
At this point, yes. I mean, look, 3 games is a fairly large sample size. It's the third of the season. It's significant. It's a great start, and they're all teams that play at least one of the facets well, and they're teams that are physical, they're teams that are quick, and teams that are led by efficient quarterbacks.
Jean Coutu, Dreamville, are they legit undefeated teams? They are actually 2-1. So by record, they are undefeated, but are they, in your mind, undefeated? Yes or no?
Well, I mean,
They tie each other, by the way.
they are undefeated. I wouldn't go on to say that they're that it was like necessarily a perfect season so far, because there is an imperfection in that tie.
Yeah.
It was an outcome, Mo, that I found to be surprising, as they tied each other 18-18 this week.
Yep.
And I mean, Antoine Cote is a guy that you love. You've been going on and on about saying potential quarterback here. You know what? Very subpar game, 14 for 23. You know what I mean?
Like Tom Brady doesn't have great games, okay?
Yes, he does. He has great games.
Like I said.
Here, Chapman, I need you to look up. Does Tom Brady have great games?
Ask Siri. Ask Siri that question.
This is so demoralizing.
You're a part of the show.
You mispronounced the meaning.
Demoralizing.
Put it up on the Twitter
I'm
poll.
demoralized.
Is it demoralized? Is it demoralizing, or is it the meaning? The question is it? And then the options are demoralizing and demeaning. That's it, no context.
But as you're saying before, with Jean Coutu, though, and Dreamville. As legit
Yeah, like
contenders.
it's in a sense they're both undefeated, but I didn't expect Dreamville to be able to run with Jean Coutu, just because like we look at their games early in the season, they beat Knights 27-14, they beat Genie, so like Genie is a team that's been struggling. Knights are a team they beat, but they beat by a score, so like. Did we really expect them to go toe-to-toe with Jean Coutu, a team that can put up all the points? My opinion is no.
Well, then it's now time for Peezein's opinion. It is now the word game with the Hunger Games segment where Antonio throws out a statement and we give the word to describe that statement. Here we go. First statement.
Antoine Cote, in brackets, 1 on the FBF site. Performance this week was?
I'm going to say not one. Because unlike Highlander, apparently there can be more than one Antoine Cote. But I will say that, and by the way, we're still waiting on whether or not Tom Brady has great games. You need to find that information.
Executive decision. I'm not doing this.
But the thing is with Antoine Cote, like, the way he started the season is great. And then to see him only throw 3 touchdowns in that game against, like, the game against Dreamville that we just described, I expect a lot more. I expected really them to lay it to Dreamville, come in this week 3-0, and see Dreamville basically somewhat exposed for what we expected, a team that's strong but not elite.
My word I would use to describe him, a bump. A little bump in the road. Antoine Cote may have some great games, which he has done already. He had an okay game this past week. I fully expect him to overcome this bump and have a fantastic game this week. In Week 4 action, where they'll take on Trinity, your boys, and he will exploit them to his advantage, and he'll throw up 6 TDs. Counted, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6.
It's like you guys have tunnel vision. You guys didn't even see the 7 sacks he had. But okay.
Oh, I was looking quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't look at defense. I don't look at defense.
Alexis Bissett, for the Spartans, his performance was what this week?
Mo, let you take that one first.
Predictable. Well, that offense is predictable. The Spartans are predictable. Their quarterback play is predictable. Bissett's predictable player. We know what the predictability will be for each play. Get the ball to Bissett's hands and let him make a play. So predictable is the word I will use in describing his performance this past week.
I think he said it 8 times. I was trying to count.
Predictable.
So you were trying to count, you couldn't successfully count?
Nope.
All
That's
right.
9 times.
I got distracted.
I'm going to say his performance was mushu pork. Because you know what you're getting mushu pork. You know it's going to be delicious. You know it's going to be great. You know it's great in a taco. You know it's great in a roll. You know it's great in its own. You're still going to order it. I'm going to order my Alexis Bissett for the rest of the season. Alexis Bissett, look for him to be potential wide receiver of the year. Because you know what? It's an offense that flows through him. They go up. and they put the ball up and they let him make plays, and he's the guy who delivers.
Predictable.
Just like what is it?
Mushu pork.
Mushu pork.
Predictable.
Like Mushu pork.
Yes.
Predictable can be good, Mokan. Predictable
I don't eat
can
pork.
be good.
I don't eat pork.
That's a you problem.
That's not my problem. All right, next statement.
Next segment, or next person, you mean?
Yes.
Mike Francese's performance for Big Fun Party Mix was
Tall. Mike Francese is one of the most imposing players in the division just because of his immense height. His ability on both sides of the ball, and especially in the red zone, is incredible. So he's playing to his height. It's not how I want to end that, but I will.
Girthy.
Ooh, it's got sexy.
Yeah.
5B just got sexual.
Very
complete opposite of
girthy.
what Pease said.
Very girthy.
Well, it could be lengthy and girthy. I'll show you later.
Yeah, he's well. You know those, but he's girthy. As Peezein made the point before, his size alone can be problems, and that's what he is. He's a matchup nightmare for those in the red zone. And when you think about it right now, if you are a 5'9", 160-pound DB going up against a girthy player like him,
No, it's about how you use it, no?
perhaps
If you're 5'9", it's about how you use it.
you're going to get your back broken. Let's put it that way. So no chance at all.
That's what the girls say about Mike Francese.
He's very girthy.
How off the rails do we go? Yeah, so, Chapman, word association with you. This segment was off the rails? Correct. Yes.
Are we done now with this segment here, PZ? Or
That was awesome. I like that.
Antonio?
I like that.
We good.
We good?
Moving on.
All right, stat of the week. Kevin Shmuda of Friends in Low Places.
Wait, Chapman, can you sing Stat of the Week?
Stat of
the week.
No.
Nice. Stat of the Week.
day. Okay, anyway. Kevin Shmuda, Friends in Low Places, 43 catches, 930 yards, 26 TDs. That is his
That's
projection.
Pace. That's
his
what he's
pace.
done so far.
His
Just to be
pace.
clear, because that would be insane.
That'd be crazy. In your mind, if he goes at that clip, would this be the single greatest receiving season you've ever witnessed in FPF history?
No. But it's up there. I mean, for those FPF old enough to remember Adam Crystal's couple of seasons, they were absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the 26 touchdowns is about on par. And he's doing it. To me, what's most impressive about Kevin Shmuda is his receptions to touchdowns. Because, like you said, he's only on pace. He's only on pace to catch 43 balls, and we've seen guys put up receptions in the 70s. We saw last season Yanni Lehrer put up 21 receptions
in a game.
in a single game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it entirely that impressive? Not completely, but I will say to have 4 touchdowns so far on 14 catches, that's pretty.
So more likely to happen, will he reach 26 TDs or 950 yards receiving?
15 TDs or
26 TDs or 950 yards
the
receiving?
950 yards is much more likely than 26 TDs because teams will eventually roll coverage in his direction. But I mean, it's doable. We've seen it done in FPF.
All right, in the carryover, he has 5 INTs. He could be up for 2A of the year.
Well, he can be because he plays for Coyotes. The
if-
stat line I actually
yeah.
just read was from Coyotes,
Yeah.
so never mind. But he, like I said, still the pace of 43 receptions and 26 of those being touchdowns is ridiculous.
But you look at his INTs. He and Bruno Lagasse of Jean Coutu have 5 INTs each. Both are on pace for 10 plus. Who's more likely to reach that mark, in your humble opinion?
I like Bruno Legacy of Legacy of Jean Coutu. Bruno Legacy would be a greater name. But Bruno Legacy is
we'll
fine
name
as
him
well.
Legacy afterwards.
If he wins Defender of the Year, we'll call him Bruno Legacy from
Exactly.
henceforth. But the thing with Legacy is playing on Jean Coutu and their ability to score will allow him lots of opportunities on defense, and teams will be airing it out against them. So I think he may not have the same ability Kevin Shmuda does, but I think that he'll have greater opportunity, and opportunity often wins out over overall ability.
I think Shmuda hits on the 26 TD mark. He won't hit 950 yards receiving.
Really? You think it's 26
Yeah,
TDs?
look at his clip now. He's averaging almost 1 TD for every 2.5 catches per game.
Correct.
He's going to hit it. We're only through 3 games.
I guess. I mean,
He looks aloof out there, but the guy
you
can
just keep
ball.
saying aloof.
I know, that's the word of the day. He can ball.
Look, honestly,
He can ball, man. Trust me.
I think the yards is more likely because the way they're using him is for big plays. He's averaging 21 yards a catch.
Yeah.
But I mean, you think like the 8 touchdowns on 13 catches? You think that's sustainable?
Yes.
Because if so, then playing fantasy football would be a lot easier because the whole
He's
thing
your
is
Gronkowski.
touchdowns are not sustainable.
He's
You don't-
your
there's,
Gronk.
there's a level of randomness to touchdowns.
He'll hit 26 TDs.
Where once he has a certain ref that I won't mention by name who doesn't care about player safety, who I happen to have this week, he may
Was
call
it on
guys out
Sunday?
of one.
Was it on Sunday?
I will not say. I will not say.
You want to say? I won't say what the referee was, who he is, but was it on Sunday
It
in
was
my
not the
field?
Sunday. It was in your field.
Okay, fair enough.
But I will say that like it might be a game like that. Where
I know what you're talking about.
where a referee keeps pulling, calling guys down at the 1 inch line without any perspective.
I know what you're talking about
and
now.
then all of a sudden, it's not a touchdown.
I know what you're talking about.
You know,
I know what you're talking about. Robert Campana. Team of the week, Big Fun Party Mix. Team
you
of
got
the
my
week.
complaint story.
Evan Eli Nole has 5 TDs, 3 INTs. Rico Tolino has 1 TD, 109 yards receiving, 3 team sacks as a whole. 2 losses were very close, in fact. Do they need to learn how to close out games? They've been outscored 24-12 in second half of matchups that they lost.
Yes, correct. But I have a more important question.
Yes.
On your big team party mix, what song leads the mix off?
MC Mario, Volume 6 from the 2003 edition.
See, I make my own mix, and you gotta start off with Gangsta's Paradise. It's the only way.
So, if they have to start off with that, do they close out games in a better manner then?
They'll have to. I mean, there's no ability to winning close games. It's random and lucky, and that's what's happening. Sorry, I'm getting a call from my mom.
Yeah, that's okay.
On the podcast. I'll answer her later. But there is no ability to that. So they're outscored in the second half. That's gonna bother them all season long.
Yeah.
That's again what happens, and what I described earlier in the podcast from 5A when I was talking about the Untitled Chapter team.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to adjust is an ability, and that's what we're seeing. At the same time, like to be able to quote unquote win close games in situations where they're winning, that's not an ability. That's you guys got lucky. Appreciate it. Learn to manage the games better, and make sure that you're closing out the game strong.
Tough schedule ahead. They have Sabre FC, Roadrunners in the next few weeks here. How many wins when you look at their schedule moving ahead? I think they might get 3 wins.
Sabre FC and Roadrunners is tough. Those are the 2 of the tougher teams in the division. They face later. After that, they face. Well, not after that, but they also face Leibig.
Yeah.
Not a given. But again, as I keep saying, the ability to put up points. Les Albatross, that'll be a close game. So if it is in fact an ability, we'll see that. But then we have Dreamville and Dragons and Chill. You're right. I mean, I hope they enjoy having that win on Buckeyes. But I think that's going to be a problem for the rest of the season. I think at most I see 2 more wins.
Fair enough. Then games of the week. Here we go.
It's time for Games of the Week.
There we go.
All right, here we go. Game number 1.
Game 1, Pandas versus Beer and Skittles. Pandas are 4.5 point favorites.
As much as I would take Pandas to beat Skittles in the wild, I gotta think Frank K does enough to at least beat the spread. If Pandas win, it will be close. I go Beer and Skittles.
Give me Beer and Skittles to win as well. I
Also,
think
great combination of things. So if you haven't tried it at home, don't try it at home.
I want to try it.
Try it at work.
Beer and Skittles for myself.
KGP Raw versus Brothers.
So
Brothers are 2.5 point favorites.
But KGP Raw is good, right? Like we didn't see it coming, but they're good.
Both
I
on a
mean,
2-game winning streak.
Absolutely, and Dylan Garber's playing really well. They have Cutler on the roster.
Is that you taking?
I'm
taking Brothers, man.
Because I don't know what to
And it's
make.
on my
I don't
field
know.
this
I don't
Saturday.
know what to make of Brothers, and I think KGP Raw is better than we're thinking. So give me KGP Raw. Give me the points.
Brothers, brother.
All right, so I'm going to underdog so far.
I went Brothers, brother. So 2 different brothers. Next.
Rednecks versus X-Men. The Rednecks are 7.5 point favorites.
So many points. I'm gonna say Rednecks will win the game, but I have to believe that Guatma Swaminathan will find a way to get it close, just like I will promise to get a way to pronounce his name. I think it's gonna be close. I think Rednecks win by 3 or 4.
10 plus for the Rednecks.
10
They're
plus.
They're going to steamroll this team.
It's like a roller coaster.
They're going to roll this team. Next.
Tip Top Shape versus Consultants. TTS are 3.5 point favorites.
Despite my consulting duties in my other in my other career, not FPF related, I will need to go against consultants in this one. Go Tip Top Shape. I like David DeAndre. He's a legitimate. He's not just a guy who can run and throws the ball by consequence of playing quarterback. He's a legitimate dual threat quarterback. I say Tip Top Shape is too tough a matchup for consultants.
Give me Tip Top Shape as well to win this game and cover. Aloof, therefore so. Girthy. We learned a lot today.
We did learn a lot today.
Yes, we did. And that's it. We're past our.
You know what I learned today?
Yes. What did you learn?
Can't say therefore and so back to back.
Yeah, you can't. Well, you said so therefore.
So therefore.
It's therefore.
Either combination
or so.
doesn't work.
Yes, exactly. Without further ado, good night, Pittsburgh. How long is that show? 55 minutes. That's good. Yeah, so. Yes, sir. Girthy.